Before I get started real quick, raise your hand for me if you are a working journalist. Okay, cool. How many people work in local versus national? Okay, so under half of the room. Well, this is exciting because I just looked through the book and there's hardly any local speakers. And I think this is actually a great time to hear from local because we are being forced to innovate right now. Let's admit it. Local has been stuck in a box. And if we stay in that box, we are not going to be relevant. So some of the things I'm talking about today are how we're breaking free of that. So I'm the president and general manager at the ABC affiliate here in Austin, Texas, KVUE. And I come up through marketing and social and digital, which is weird. My company gave me the chance to run a TV station with that background. So I start with that because as I was looking at the room, I'm like, these people in here need to know you all have management potential. Okay? Yeah, amen to that. Y'all, I'm from New York, last market, but now I know how to say y'all. Y'all are tomorrow's future leaders, and I sincerely mean that. I have recruiters calling me, telling me we want somebody like you to run our media business. So Tegna is a company I work for. We are hiring news directors from your background, and link me in if you want to get on that path to management. That's my plug for that, to help you guys in your career, and just be thinking about that, please. Anyways, Tegna. I'm going to talk about 5 of the experiments that we're doing right now in some of our local markets, but really our strategy is platform-specific and platform-tailored versus agnostic. This is kind of like a no-duh, but it took local a little while to figure this out. So here are some of the things we're going to talk about. But really, we're paying attention to our data, and it's clear. If we just take our news packages and slap them online like we did at the beginning of the internet, it's not going to work, and that doesn't work on social, and it doesn't work on all these little screens where you really need to tailor the experience, and everybody is saying that today. That's what you're going to hear from all of us. So, native social video. Let's talk about 2 very different things we're doing in this space, and specifically we'll focus on Facebook because for our demographics, that's still where the biggest part of our audience lies. Here's one of a brand that we developed. So Tegna, which is Gannett and Bilo that merged together. I know we have some Bilo folks in here, right? Do we have any Gannett? Yeah, okay, no. If you do, I can't see your hands over the glare. So we have 39 markets now, we just bought in San Diego, and 47 TV stations. And so this is a new brand that we only developed probably about 9 months ago or so. And already it has 70,000 fans on Facebook. That's decent, not bad. But each video, which is just tailored, you know, it's the traditional text on that AJ Plus is talking about, they get about 500,000 views. Not bad. They're highly emotional. I watch these and I try not to cry, which is a good experience in your Facebook to feel a little, you know? Let's make people feel. And the last thing that I'm going to bring to this too is each of these things that we're doing, we think about the revenue goals. And so for this one, brand sponsorship. We try to find a signature client that wants to be associated with a bunch of these and then, you know, take their money, hopefully. Here's another one, and this one is going to be the one video. I want to play more video, but I only have 10 minutes. But I love hot cars, fast cars. So we are going to watch a little bit. This is a totally different Facebook experience, and it actually probably goes against what some of us have been taught to do. But here at KVUE, we know our TV audience is one, and who's on Facebook is different. And we want to make sure that we are cultivating that new audience that probably doesn't want to turn on the TV or has cut the cord. And so we want to give them a fun and exciting experience where they are. Makes sense, right? So check this out. You guys can tell me if you think that we've accomplished that a little bit.
My family is a long line of moonshiners, so we're just steeped in a culture of fast cars. I'm Mitch Mitch Medford. At Bloodshed Motors, we're pioneering an entirely new class of hot rods called lightning rods. What we really specialize in is taking the coolest, most iconic cars, and we infuse them with extremely powerful electric drive technology. It is the cutting edge of what can be done today to these vintage cars. It's like you're riding a roller coaster. I was born in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I grew up in a very modest little family, but the family had a long history of moonshining. Now what that means is that I come from a long line of people that drive fast, hot cars. I was always around somebody fixing a car, working on a car, painting a car. And so of course, when I turned 16, the first thing I did was take the money I'd saved from mowing yards and pulled a car out of a junkyard and started working on it by borrowing tools from my dad and my grandfather. Right after school, so I served a tour in the United States Army.
Okay, I love this guy. Mitch is awesome, but I'm going to stop it there because this is about 4 minutes long, and we're actually asking the Facebooker to stop, turn up the audio, sit back, and enjoy. And we're hoping that it's so cinematically pretty that they are motivated to do it. And, well, the data actually told us that they did. So in February for KVUE, this is one of our top couple posts that we did and had massive shares. Not to mention that Mitch is just interesting and a badass and is taking iconic cars that you'd find at Barrett-Jackson and turning them into all-electric vehicles. So you don't have that noise anymore and they go super fast. To me, coolest model, interesting person, but that's one of those enterprise stories, the stink bug thing that could have been ignored. But we are giving our journalists in our newsrooms that go tell stories that interest you, because if they are interesting you, they might interest the people in their news feed as well. All right, let's see if I'm gonna mess this part up. Speaking of, all right, look, we all know YouTube is huge. It's the biggest video host on the internet, and obviously Tegna is concerned with that, even though video is our game, and we have our beautiful owned channels. We started in 2016. We joined the news partnership with YouTube. So what have we learned so far in local by putting our videos on there, which, you know, made us a little nervous at first, right? So we're learning that long form works there for us, more raw, uncut. The stuff that you would never see from your local TV station is working there. And then also what's really cool is some of these people, Dale Hansen, that you're like, that's a, you know, what do they call, veteran news journalist out of WFAA. His commentaries go viral on YouTube and rack up millions of views. Why? Because he's got a good perspective and he's got something to say, and it's a great place for him to actually have that personality out there, and it works well there. So we're also trying YouTube-only videos, of course, and these are just serial videos that you're only going to see there. This is an experiment out of our Seattle station where these two hip millennials, I'm barely a millennial, I just want to admit it, and everything on these videos is not done in a TV way. It's, you know, from the thumbnail to the titles to all the tags, it's all to generate that discovery and then also try to get people to come back when we post them at the same time every week. Instagram stories, I'm sure, who's doing Instagram stories right now? We should all be doing them, right? Did you say you hate it? So here's another person who you guys might recognize. Again, a local talent. Her name is Brandy Smith, and does anyone remember during Hurricane Harvey where that reporter helped save that guy live on TV in the semi-truck who's getting flooded? That's her. So, by the way, after that happened, you know, she's gotten a lot more following on her social channels and is able to do things like this and have more of a following just because she saved a guy live on TV. When it works, it works. So Morning Recut, it's a mini newscast. It's vertical, 1 minute. Oh, dang. Ooh, I'm glad you have those cards. I didn't see them before. You guys know how to do that one. Here's another fun one, 360 video for the local broadcaster. Man, this is so cool, because now we can tell the story of homelessness and narrate it and guide you through that, and you can poke around and see for yourself the trash under that bridge and the filthy conditions that they're living in. And this is a really unique way of storytelling. I mean, on this one that also went viral, I don't know why this goose follows around this car, why he's in love with it, but he is. And now you can actually follow the goose around the car and play with it as we do the story. And it's, yeah, he says all locals should do it, and I agree. So here's the fun part for me. As a broadcaster who spent my whole career doing TV, all of this digital fun that we're having and these new storytelling techniques have influenced now what we're doing on TV. So KVUE, we're like, why do we always have to do a newscast the same way? These guys go around and they tell us, you know, you have to have stories that are less than 110, blah, blah, blah. Like, your pacing has to be crazy fast. And that's the way local news works. And digital is making us experiment. So what we did was, we're going to do a documentary and we're going to do it live, because news people do everything live. So we took over, we've been taking over newscasts, and we're doing one story in that newscast. And it is awesome. It is energizing our journalists to get deeper now. We were told not to do this on air. My whole career, people have told me, do not do this on air. And it is so fun, and some of these are boosting ratings. It depends. I will tell you what we've learned is it depends on the subject, but we're tackling the biggest issues in our community, which in Austin, boomtown, how fast we've grown. I'm sure you guys are loving the traffic, aren't you? Yes, and the lack of public transportation. Isn't it fantastic? Have you driven on I-35? Don't buy a house here. So, bam, you have 30-minute newscasts. It tackles things, and these things have all trended online for us and been some of the biggest social engagement that we have, and it's optimized for impact. So wrapping it up, audiences, you guys know this, and I'm going to, because you already know that, I'm going to add with this. These experiments are teaching us storytelling techniques, workflow and tools, audience development, which there are actually teams of people who specialize in that, and then our challenge as business leader is, how do we monetize it and make money? And I'm going to add this, my final word. I believe if you're a healthy local broadcaster right now, up to probably even more than 20% of your, 1/5 of your revenue can probably come from digital these days. It is a changing landscape, and if you're doing stuff right, you have an opportunity to be there and playing in it. Thank you.